very well within the past.
I was going to say also a question, did they let Kale through? And well, that was answered straight away by FNATIC. They took that out as the first ban, and Jax as well. So really targeting what's been strong for Mimer in these last couple of weeks. On the other side, the Supa Hot Crew taking away 6 and the Morgana, as you expected there from YellOwStaR. What will FNATIC go for here as their third and final ban?
Cedeno is up. Twisted Fate is up. In terms of junglers, all of the junglers are up. So there's a lot of priority picks. I think Twisted Fate, and seeing how well xPeke and Froggen, I think, have played in recent weeks, I wonder what they're going to go for. I wonder if one of those champions is a consideration to be banned.
Well, we see Evelyn banned out there and Cedeno taken away. Red side ban. FNATIC now having a strong first pick, I'd say, in this game. The likes of Twisted Fate, we saw it already in OGN this morning. Actually, we saw Froggen first pick in the likes of Twisted Fate. However, FNATIC really putting a lot of importance here on first pick in their AD carry, taking Twitch as the first choice.
Now, this is the first European Twitch of 4.10. I'm going back in my notes, and I'm 99% sure on that one. And it's going to be in the hands of Rekkles. Arguably, the itemization choices in 4.10 make Twitch stronger, thanks to the sort of buff to Ghostblade and the buff to the damage on Blade of the Ruined King. But on the other side of the coin, he's been nerfed in this patch. His lower damage from his passive, as well as the ambush taking a longer time to charge up. So we need to keep an eye on how Rekkles plays this game, because he's going to have a weaker laning phase thanks to the patch.
Did see it this morning though for Def for Samsung Galaxy Blue in their first game victory over SK Telecom T1K. So we'll see if Rekkles can bring that kind of level. On the other side, the Supa Hot Crew also going to be taking an AD carry as they pick up Lucian and also Braum as a support.
Stuns for days. Thanks to the Light Slinger passive on Lucian, as well as those concussive blows, I believe it is, from Braum. The combo is just so good at locking people down. So if FNATIC are ever in a 2v2 situation and they don't have the likes of Thresh maybe as a support to try and punish Braum early on, they could be in trouble. YellOwStaR and Thresh has been playing significantly better, but we have also been seeing the Twitch-Nami combination in recent weeks. The disengage and the movement speed plus the damage that Nami offers Twitch can be very beneficial. You'll notice both of these teams are ticking these timers down. Junglers, with Elise and Elise still available, they've not been locked in yet, and as I say, it does look like Cyanide's going to pick at least one of them.
Yeah, we'll see Elise for Cyanide here in the jungle, and xPeke sporting a new haircut, cut a little bit shorter than he wanted, apparently, according to Twitter, will be taking the Twisted Fate in that mid lane. Now for the Supa Hot Crew. Bottom lane is locked in with the Braum and the Lucian lane. Question then is, where do they go next? We've seen Selfie earlier on in the split, actually, when Yasuo was allowed through to get to him. In fact, that first game that we saw, that was against Alliance, I believe, in the first week. And he was incredibly, incredibly good with it.
And yesterday, his Yasuo was still good most of the time. But it was his engage onto Darius Renekton that you could argue cost the game. He was the one that jumped in. Impaler, you know, he was trying to bait, he was trying to pull people away. The interesting hover for me is the Rengar. And the reason I think it's an interesting hover is it's most likely going to be in the jungle. We've seen it first pick today, I think 2 out of the 4 OGN games, if memory serves. Bengi ran it, we've seen a bunch of players going, and you can build it either damage or tank. And the only reason I'm saying so much about the jungle options is Mimer is the Rengar god in Europe, or was. But I don't expect this to be a top lane pick. If it does, it's definitely catching me by surprise.
Yeah, as you said, was played by Bengi, then banned out afterwards in game number 2. So we'll see if that goes to Impaler as we're expecting, and what he can really bring to the table with it. We also saw that Kha'Zix Rengar matchup earlier on, which we've not seen, well, I can't really remember when we have ever seen that, to be honest with you. But that's obviously not going to be the case here. Elise already locked in for Cyanide. FNATIC looking for support and top laner for sOAZ. Bear in mind here that Lulu is available. A champion that he actually played better yesterday, I think, than we've ever seen him play it before.
I completely agree. I also think there could be an argument put forward for the likes of a Trundle. Add more to some disengage power if they wanted to go that route, but it is going to be the expected. What I do like is the Thresh lock-in for YellOwStaR, because Twitch and Thresh can actually deal with a Lucian and Braum in the early stages of the game. The range from Thresh allows him to poke and harass Braum down, and if Braum goes for a heavy engage, Twitch prior to 4.10 could sort of trade, thanks to his passive, thanks to the expunge, I believe it's Contaminate now, onto Lucian. But we need to see if they're going to go for those 2v2s, if they want to look for the straight-up matchups. I think they would, because the Destiny from xPeke will also allow them to help counter that stealth initiation that Rengar brings to the table.
So the Supa Hot Crew then on their final choice, expecting the Rengar to go in the jungle, and then leave us with a top lane choice for Mimer in this game. A player who, to be honest, has really come into his own. I think when we saw him in last year, even in Season 3, and the start of this year in the Spring Split, he was fairly quiet, but he's been getting stronger and stronger as things go on. It's going to be a Shyvana this time around for him, champion that he's well-versed with.
This is all about Selfie. You have knockups from Braum, you have knockup from Shyvana, you have knockup from Yasuo. If Supa Hot Crew are ever able to put FNATIC in a teamfight scenario or a teamfight situation, that 5-man wombo combo is terrifying. What is also good for the Supa Hot Crew is because you've got a Shyvana and a Rengar as well as a Yasuo, they can also play the split push game. The difficulty for them is how do they deal with the wave clear and the pick power that Twitch, Twisted Fate, and Elise offer. So Supa Hot Crew have to maintain very good vision and arguably need to get ahead early because all of their damage is physical. There will be a point where FNATIC has enough armor to reduce Shyvana, Rengar, Yasuo, and Lucian's damage, and at that point, it becomes next to impossible for Supa Hot Crew to win. Ticking time bomb, full AD comps seldom are successful at this level of play.
And also seeing a new champion in the jungle for Impaler. He's had his fair share of champions which we've not been impressed with, and on the other hand, champions that we've been very impressed with. So we'll see what he does here with Rengar today. But now that those champions are locked in, who do you guys think has the advantage in our featured matchup? Tweet at LOL Esports with the hashtag YellOwStaR or KaSing.
And it's interesting to see both Thresh and Braum feature, because Morgana was banned out yesterday. We've seen them both foregone in favor of different picks. The Zyra, the Nami are growing in popularity, which I'm ecstatic to see, because the more champions we start seeing, the more diverse the playstyle is. But I do think the early game, the laning phase, is really where the Supa Hot Crew have to get ahead. Once those Randians or Frozen Hearts or Thorn Mails get completed, well, I mean, what are you going to do? You can't burn through all that armor when everyone's physical.
We're going to find out here. We are going to get into game for our third game here in Week 6, Day 2 of the European LCS. It's FNATIC take on the Supa Hot Crew. New champions coming to the table this week already. And we're going to see another one here in this game with Rengar in the jungle for Impaler.
First thing I want to highlight, YellOwStaR is once again playing Thresh. Yesterday, he had great death sentences. He also rushed a Talisman of Ascension after his Sightstone. It looks to be a similar case as he's grabbed himself that ancient coin. And the only reason I highlight that, none of the other Threshers have adjusted their GP10 focus. They've still been going for that Relic Shield to face the mountain route. So let's see how that plays out. It also means if a fight were to break out in the lane, YellOwStaR has less combat stats than KaSing on Braum.
Also, I'd like to see a gold per hook item come in there, because YellOwStaR would have been really raking that in yesterday. Played amazingly well, and we'll see if he can continue that trend today. If we look at the start of this game, a minute in and already FNATIC up by the Supa Hot Crew red buff, and almost a mirror image on the bottom side of the map, where the Supa Hot Crew have sent 2 men down to put wards in early on and make sure that they've got vision of that one. Mimer is a little bit isolated from the rest of his team here. Will be spotting Rekkles early on, but he's quick enough to get back to his turret. No real problem. And it looks like FNATIC just going to back away completely of the Supa Hot Crew jungle.
Super deep vision from FNATIC. This is going to give them so much information to work with regarding the first clear of Impaler. So if FNATIC want to go for some sort of invade or some sort of cheeky play, and Supa Hot Crew back away from their red buff, they will have the opportunity to do that. As it stands, we may end up just seeing a straight-up trade. It doesn't look like either team is really looking for any sort of engage, and it's FNATIC that appear to be starting off the lane swap. Somewhat expected with an ancient coin start, because YellOwStaR loses those stats, but we have seen Threshers really punish Browns in previous weeks.
Yeah, we see Selfie going very aggressive, and his passive shield there actually blocking all the damage that comes out of those cards at the start. So see how Selfie decides to play this one in the end. Peke losing out on quite a lot of CS there from that first wave thanks to the pressure.
Yeah, very smart play by Selfie, but it is, it is his most, it is the champion that is most banned against Selfie. I do want to say that yesterday under pressure from ganks of Gambit, Selfie had a few dodgy sweeping blades with his E, sort of going into the middle of 3 and then forcing himself to flash out. So you could argue that sometimes his under pressure decisions cause him a little bit of trouble, but he's off to a strong enough start, and he's trying to punish Peke with obviously the advantage of the shield and the mobility gains from his flow.
Also want to talk about the pressure while we're kind of on that topic here for KaSing. Obviously he's been brought in here now to replace YellOwStaR, and he's obviously going to be feeling some pressure to get some wins on the board. I mean, the Supa Hot Crew, they've not had a lot of time to really gel in this one, especially with the duo ladies, YellOwStaR, Cyanide, and sOAZ are now coming around, but Selfie going on towards Peke there. I don't think he's got the damage. There is a flash out away from the hook. Can they catch up with him though? 3-man coming in. We've got Mimer that's looped around through the enemy jungle there to stop them, and actually he will go towards that top lane, and he does in the end manage to get away. Peke also blowing both summoners there.
In addition to the summoner spells blown for Peke, YellOwStaR used his flash as well. So if you just count summoner spells in terms of the bottom half of the map, advantage to Supa Hot Crew. Mimer was forced to teleport though to the top lane because there was a lot of pressure from Rekkles. He got some auto attacks down, he had a minion wave pushing it up. But it is the risk you run. On 4.10, low-level dragon is worth more gold, and if you lane swap to put your numbers in the top half of the map, you open up the dragon to be secured early, and Supa Hot Crew with that relatively safe, actually incredibly safe early pickup.
Yeah, no one really going to be even dropping low, I think, from this one. KaSing, the one that's just been tanking it up for those last few attacks, but that will be a dragon taken away for the Supa Hot Crew. 1,000 gold lead. That
was actually incredible damage juking from KaSing as well as Impaler. They avoided probably 4 or 5 of those dragon auto attacks. You can see they came away from the objective with more HP than previous, thanks to the juggle. There is a rotation time between auto attacks on dragon, and he managed to cancel them. So well played by Supa Hot Crew. Mimer's going to be forced out of lane. I don't know if they've got enough damage to kill him. We'll find out.
Already a lot coming down onto him. Flash is available though, so he could have taken that if he'd have been really forced to. Didn't quite work out for him though. And we see that FNATIC now have free reign on this top turret. sOAZ and Cyanide actually chilling in the jungle. They'll allow both Rekkles and YellOwStaR to finish off that turret on their own. Meanwhile, Selfie and Peke goes back into this mid lane. Selfie up to level 5. Actually going for that Vamp Scepter first of all, so he's going to have a bit more sustain added into his lane.
Yeah, we'll see how that works out for him. We just caught a glimpse of Rekkles using an ambush to get the bonus attack speed. That is a very big change to him on this patch. After he's initiated the Q, it can take up to 6 seconds to actually stealth up, and this is a 3v2. Supa Hot Crew in trouble.
Oh, and Impaler, the one that's going to be focused, and there is a jump in. Peke actually getting the last shot off, and will get the first blood as well. Not calculating there, I think, that the 2 men from FNATIC were going to come running face first out of their own jungle.
Yeah, unfortunate for Impaler. Just got surrounded from the sideline. Probably wasted that flash, I think. Maybe didn't need to do it. Nevertheless, FNATIC landed all of the skill shots they needed to, and there's definitely a focus to unlock this top half of the map. They really want to get that tower down.
And there is the vote from Twitter. 88% of you thinking that YellOwStaR gonna have the better time here. The support to the max range, took less to Mimer. Will they follow through? That flash, as I said, wasn't used in the last encounter, won't need it to be used here by Mimer.
My word, has YellOwStaR improved his Thresh play? If you go back in the spring split at the beginning of this year, YellOwStaR was an average Thresh at best. And in recent weeks, he is landing so many good death sentences, and very importantly, I think his Lantern ganks with the rest of his team have also synergized and continued to upgrade. That was just a great example of, judging his skill shots, angling it through the wall sort of on the right-hand side to land it on Mimer, and it was just very well played by YellOwStaR.
That himself is going to have the wave pushed up against his own turret. Shouldn't have too much problem with that. Just want to touch on the AD carry CS at this point. 52 to 45. Both of them pretty much had a free reign on farm. Not really been pressured at all in these bottom and top lanes. So we see that Rekkles having the better time of that one. We actually saw Mr. Ralls going for the Vamp Scepter first.
Keep in mind the play from FNATIC. They have been invading and trying to control Supa Hot Crew's jungle the entirety of this game. From level 1, they had deep vision. This is the first time Red Buff is respawning, and FNATIC are once again laying claim to this objective. They, of course, have the support of Rekkles and YellOwStaR in the top half of the map, which is why they can afford to make these plays, but it is also a focused, concerted denial of Impaler on Rengar. They really want to try reduce the amount of time before he gets access to his ultimate, and then can start setting up those stealth ganks. Because there is very good pick potential on the side of Supa Hot Crew as well, thanks to the fact they've got Rengar in the jungle.
Well, up until now, he's only been surprised himself, really, as he came out of the jungle, ended up dying. As Mimer again, gonna be pushed back towards his tower. And Cocoon not quite landing onto him and was already in range of that turret itself.
Look at Peke.
Impaler is going to be coming around. Do they have vision?
They're going on.
Peke does go around in there, has got his gold card pull, but will it be enough to get away? Uses his flash as well. They're going to go underneath the tower onto him as the slow comes down. The red card thrown back in there, and Peke surviving the 2v1, having to use his flash.
Yeah, KaSing actually used exhaust and flash, but once again, they have forced Peke to blow his summoner spells. Selfie has continued to get a CS lead in this middle lane, and knowing that Peke has no summoners available, that has to be a go signal for Selfie. He's got access to his ultimate. He's still got to work maybe a little more attack damage or crit into his build to get the kill. But nevertheless, it's the first sort of strong play from the Supa Hot Crew onto FNATIC.
Speaking of FNATIC, they've just taken their first turret of the game, finally finishing off that one on the top lane, because it was Mr. RalleZ who finished off the first turret for the Supa Hot Crew down on the bottom side. And with that all said and done, the slight lead, which it really is at this stage for the Supa Hot Crew, still remains mostly there from that mid lane where Self is having a good time of farm over Peke.
So we need to see if FNATIC are going to challenge for this next dragon. They won't have the exact timer. Well, they probably have, since they probably walked through the area. But Peke's got Destiny. You see Selfie's return to lane with his Zeal. Impaler got the Madrids. It is pretty standard on jungle Rengars to go for a Feral Flare, in fact, as one of his items, and just continue scaling up the damage. As you can see, Feral Flare has just been completed for Impaler, the Rekkles Lantern rather. Needs to get himself up to those 25 stacks, then it'll level up. But I want to know where Impaler goes next. With the tank in Shyvana, and knowing that he needs to get ahead in the sort of mid-game, I wouldn't be surprised to see him go for a more of a damage build, much like Nocturne from a few months ago. Go for that Ghost Blade, or maybe even a Blade of the Ruined King. So we need to see what Impaler decides to itemize.
So with 30 seconds until the Dragon, we are seeing the teams moving towards the Dragon Pit, starting there, clearing out duties as well. It's mostly YellOwStaR and Cyanide that were off on that bottom side of the river, doing a good job of that. In fact, the Supa Hot Crew don't have any vision of the pit itself, so it's something that they're going to have to be figuring out here shortly. Although sOAZ recalling from that bottom lane will leave them one man down, at least for now. He, of course, though, does have teleport available if he should need to be called in for a dragon fight.
And we've seen that Mr. RalleZ is still falling further and further behind in CS. It is a small amount right now, but in terms of the lane matchups, Rekkles is just doing a better job at getting his CS available. Impaler, that's his ultimate throwdown. They want Rekkles.
And they try and get in there on top of him. Can they actually lock him down? And there is half HP already taken away from Rekkles. Here comes KaSing as well. Money is going to be going their way, surely. No, Rekkles gets a stealth in, and there's the rest of the FNATIC team closing in. Impaler is now low. FNATIC take the Larsson over. There's a hook onto Impaler as well, and they're trying their best to get away. But here comes Selfie. He'll get himself one. Can he find any more YellOwStaR? Got half HP still, and what a turnaround there from the Supa Hot Crew.
That should open them up for a dragon as well. Rekkles was able to get that ambush stealth off. While under damage, it can take up to 6 seconds to stealth up, but it was enough time for Rekkles to actually deny vision from his opponents and get out safely. I really like the aggressive play from Supa Hot Crew. Impaler started that engagement, ran all the way into FNATIC's jungle, and the support from the rest of the team was there. They get the kill, they get the dragon, and they get Destiny out of Peke.
I'm not sure really why I called it a turnaround, because it was, of course, the Supa Hot Crew starting things off, but after seeing FNATIC close in onto them, didn't look good, but good reactions on both sides, and the Supa Hot Crew now looking very strong. 2,000 gold lead, give or take. See sOAZ head back up onto his top lane and get back into the farm. Actually is bang level really with Mimer at this stage of things. Found himself that Fiendish Codex as his first item of the game. So we'll see how this one all develops. In terms of the AD carries though that we touched on earlier on, that lead in CS is still with Rekkles. Both of them headed up towards the Blade of the Ruined King first.
Yeah, even though the CS is in favor of Rekkles, if you actually look at the total gold, thanks to the dragons and obviously the assist from Mr. RalleZ's side, he is a few hundred gold ahead. It hasn't equated to, a massive amount yet, but it will be, it is interesting to see that even though Mr. RalleZ has been on the back foot in CS, the map play and the objective play is working in his favor, and Impaler does have his ultimate available again. They might want to go for sOAZ here.
See if you can actually speed away from this one. There was no ward inside of that brush as far as I could tell there. And I think that was just a case of sOAZ having the feeling that Impaler was going to head on towards this top side of the map and was able to saunter off. Meanwhile, the Supa Hot Crew are finally going to get one of their own red buffs.
Yeah, so this is the first time since... Actually, this is the first red buff they've secured on their half of the map. Supa Hot Crew have been invading FNATIC to steal their first and I believe second as well. And that is obviously a testament to the fact that FNATIC no longer have resources in the top half of the map. FNATIC invested a fair amount of time and a lot of vision into controlling the first 10 minutes of the game, which did work out. That whole top half was theirs. They secured the first tower. They secured the first blood. But Supa Hot Crew, with a great counterplay and movement on the bottom half of the map, have allowed them to get the dragons. And we touched on the extra gold that Mr. RalleZ has. Because he didn't invest that gold into Berserker's Greaves, he's finished his Blade of the Rune King first. So, gonna most likely go for that Blade of the Rune King into Ghost Blade build that we are seeing from Lucian's on 4.10.
Let's have a see. And it's, as you said, behind in CS, but still ahead in gold, which has really helped him out as well. Impaler, meanwhile, headed down towards this bottom side of the map. Is the focus here on towards Rekkles? It makes sense when we hear what they both had to say in that video.
So, Supa Hot Crew need to try and find opportunities for the Yasuo plus Rengar combo to look for kills. If the Supa Hot Crew can sort of pull FNATIC into the lanes and use the power of that thrill of the hunt from Rengar to come in stealth, land the stun from the E, and get kills, that's how they can open up objectives. But in terms of like wave clear, it's relatively unsafe wave clear from Supa Hot Crew, and they don't want to put themselves in a siege situation because Lulu can wave clear effectively, because Twisted Fate can wave clear effectively, and even Elise has got the ranged explosive damage from a volatile Spiderlings. So Supa Hot Crew are really going to be looking to push waves and play the waves to actually find picks.
Mid lane being pushed out by all people of KaSing. And up against Peke, I mean, he is already pretty damn tanky. Not going to be too scared of what Peke can throw at him there. Also had Mr. RalleZ coming around to help him out there as well. Let's have a look down some of the other items. As you mentioned earlier on, we already saw that Rekkles lantern coming out for Impaler and actually being left those big jungle camps so we can get that stacking up. Now,
I do want to quickly mention, in team fights, if KaSing can position himself correctly with that unbreakable shield, he will completely and utterly negate Rekkles' damage. Rekkles, with his rat-a-tat-tat, that damage, that projectile will not go through the shield. So KaSing can really increase his team's chances in terms of these team fights. And that's before you even bring into consideration the likes of the Wind Wall from Selfie.
Yep.
So FNATIC do not want to put themselves in a bigger team fight, 4v4s, 5v5s. They want to be looking for Twisted Fate and Twitch to surprise people around either Elise and Lulu and use the smaller numbers to their advantage, where their smaller group of champions can outplay and get through those shields.
Which is funny, really, because we've not seen Peke really using that Destiny up until now. Not exactly putting a big focus on this one. Maybe a testament to the Supa Hot Crew, making sure that their squishier, more vulnerable targets have been grouped up here. KaSing and Mr. RalleZ pretty much sticking to each other this entire time. Rengar, of course, going about his business, getting that Feral Flare stacked up and leaving then the highly mobile Yasuo down bottom and Mimer on Shyvana up top.
So Peke hasn't been able to because his team initiated the lane swap, and because the laning phase has been accelerated. We've had two dragons. Oh, Rekkles is going in.
Coming in behind them on this one. Will they be able to lock anyone up, though? KaSing going to block out all the damage. Does take the cocoon, but look at that. They throw as much as they can at him, and both of them end up surviving.
That is exactly what we talked about 2 minutes ago. The unbreakable shield comes up, and Rekkles is not able to break through it. What it does allow them to do, though, is get some damage on the inner turret, but thanks, of course, to some defense from Supa Crew, they hold off for the time being. Supa Crew are split, and Mimer, he wants to force this fight.
Forcing in there. There's 8 seconds, actually, until the dragon comes up, so this could be a big one, as Peke is going to be using the Destiny. They've already got the 1 kill onto KaSing. The hook comes on Impaler with the play afterwards. It's Cyanide gets that, and that's going to be the turret going down, and FNATIC can simply back away and take a dragon.
Grab themselves 2 kills, 1 onto Impaler, 1 on KaSing, and that's just a very good play. Even though FNATIC seem to be chasing Mimer and Selfie because of the mobility on their side of the map and obviously the power of Destiny. They just instantly catch Supa Hot Crew. With the tower, the kills, and the dragon, they are now going to take the gold lead, and that was a very big swing in control considering they were down 2K.
That'd be bad news for the Supa Hot Crew. We've seen time and time again teams like FNATIC, these more experienced teams. I say time and time again. We have also seen them losing leads, but it's often an anomaly, I think we can safely say, in the grand scheme. See, the Morale-Anomicon's actually been completed there as well for both sOAZ on Lulu and xPeke on Twisted Fate.
Yeah, there's even less likelihood of them going Athenes and Holy Grail in this game because Athenes already had its MR reduced in this patch, and there's no magic damage there. There's such a tiny amount of magic damage from Shyvana and from Braum. It's not enough to necessarily itemize against. So once sOAZ and Peke eventually start working towards the Zhonya's hourglasses, they're already going to be much more difficult to kill. Mimer is going to have the support of Impaler fairly soon. And sOAZ is actually just going to spot him out there a moment ago. So trying to pull sOAZ in. Supa Hot Crew haven't been able to force FNATIC's hands yet this game.
See what Impaler can do though. He's going to be waiting around on that top side of the map. Has his ultimate available. sOAZ does have wild growth as well though, which may be able to keep him alive. Also with a flash in there, and his turret is still up. And there we go. sOAZ going to actually face check straight into this one. He's going to be forced to use the wild growth, trying to turn a bit of damage back around onto Impaler. Still has the flash available. Here comes Peke though. Destiny up to the top lane, and they get the kill onto Impaler. They'll probably back away from this one with Mimer's ultimate running, but a great turnaround from FNATIC. sOAZ face checking, but knowing that he had the backup, and now Cyanide's coming in. The Cocoon going straight down the middle. Bit of a turnaround on this one as well. We're going to have Thresh joining the top lane in a second, but I think that's the end of that one.
It does look to be the end of it. sOAZ, I think, a little lucky to have the support of Peke. Because he was running through the bushes, had that just been a 2-on-1, obviously Rengar can just keep hopping, skipping, and jumping to his target. Nevertheless, Peke lands, he pulls the red card, and he sends Impaler back to the base. Very well played by Peke.
Look at this. RalleZ looking for a go on this turret. Actually saw that the lantern was thrown back in the lane there and thought, okay, who's going to be coming following that one through? I'm going to back away, don't want to risk it. In the meantime, Selfie playing the split push game here for the Supa Hot Crew this entire time.
With Shyvana and with Yasuo, once again, you can expect Supa Hot Crew to play the split push game. They do have access to the map play, the strategic play, and when you factor in that Impaler could gank either of those lanes if anyone's defending solo, it's a powerful combo. The problem that Supa Hot Crew are running into is the wave clear from FNATIC is very good. So as long as Peke or sOAZ are on those side lanes, which you can see them doing right now, they're actually mitigating a lot of the presence and a lot of the threat that Supa Hot Crew are putting down.
And we'll see if they can break down this middle lane then. Now we can actually see Ghostblade is done for Mr. RalleZ. Brutalizer only just picked up for Rekkles, so he's slightly behind on that front, on the itemization.
Yeah, and Impaler's just hit his Feral Flare not 20 or 30 seconds ago. So keep in mind that Feral Flare was adjusted a few patches ago, where it is 30 stacks, not 25, and hitting it at the 20-minute mark is definitely not bad. It's a decent enough time. And as we talked about, he's going damage. Brutalizer, Hex Drinker, as well as Feral is going to keep stacking up that Feral Flare. When you've got a frontline in Shyvana, who is building full tank, it does make sense. But it also means if Impaler picks the wrong engage or gets counter-engaged by Twisted Fate, he just gets shredded like you've seen in the top lane.
Yeah, already seen that one happening. He went down for the first time in this game for First Blood, which went over to xPeke. He's now got his Zhonya's Hourglass finish, so a bit more protection for Peke, and we'll see if that kind of opens some doors for them, whether they'll feel a little bit more comfortable to go in for and test how much damage he's going to have onto one of these split push lanes. Although you've got to say, Blade of the Ruined King and Static Shiv now done for Selfie. That's still a risky fight to take.
It really is. There is a very powerful ability in that Hourglass to avoid this somewhat wombo combo team that Supa Hot Crew put together. They can do a lot of different things with their comp, but let's see, where's Destiny going? I think they want Selfie, and there's so many members of FNATIC here.
Yep, in fact, they're all going down there. Blade of the Ruined King was used. Here comes the hook, and it's blocked out by the wind wall. expertly done there by Selfie. And look at this, the Supa Hot Crew going to go straight towards that middle turret. They're going to be able to take this one away. Peke will put down some decent damage. sOAZ is now coming in as well. sOAZ needs to be careful. Actually, flash from Peke. They're going to go on towards KaSing. Oh! They'll flash against the wall. Peke gets himself his third of the game.
So they end up getting the Destiny from Peke, and they do get the mid turret. I think that's not too bad for the Supa Hot Crew, but they just took too much damage from the turret once they were underneath there, and it just allowed sOAZ to zone them away. Now look at the defense from Supa Hot Crew. KaSing forced to be used, which will at least hold it off for this minion wave, but once Peke gets here, they are going to have some even more threat on this inner turret.
Can't underestimate the poke to come through as well when you're trying to hold on to those turrets that have been sieged. Let's not forget the Dragon as well. That's coming up in less than 14 seconds time. So big pickup here for whichever team will be able to get it in there. And the Supa Hot Crew will have KaSing coming back down into the lane in time for that Dragon fight as well.
So for FNATIC, this could be a very important Dragon if they rush it. They should know that the KaSing is down, that the Glacial Fissure is down. But the thing you need to note, a lot of FNATIC's damage comes from skill shots, comes from Glitzer Lancers, comes from wild cards and Rat-a-tat-tat. And if the Wind Wall or the Unbreakable prevent that damage, it will reduce FNATIC's overall effectiveness in team fights. So timing on those abilities is so key as that objective has respawned.
Well, let's see, Dragon already started off by FNATIC. Supa Hot Crew going to be closing in slowly and not even remotely quick enough to even challenge for that one. FNATIC take it, the second of 4. Meanwhile, we do have Mimer pushing the top lane, and there is Peke actually going in aggressive on towards KaSing. Definitely not something that he was ever going to win, and Mimer took down the turret in the top lane as well.
So they trade Dragon for Tower. We do see that KaSing gets away thanks to that 100% damage reduction on first projectile, but FNATIC are going to secure this inner turret. They're going to be... Oh, they've even hooked KaSing!
Oh, they've hooked KaSing. Can they take him down, though? He's pretty tanky by now. The damage seems to be there, though. It's Cyanide that will actually get that one. Wild Growth was used onto YellOwStaR. They've managed to hook RalleZ at the back. He flashed away. Mimer's right in the middle. Here comes Selfie from the side. Can they take down anyone from FNATIC? Selfie trying his best to get on them. There's going to be a gold card any second. Actually, he threw it onto Mimer here, and now they turn towards Peke. sOAZ has got a shield. That's not going to be enough with a knock-up, though, and they get one back.
They end up trading 1 for 1. It's not over yet!
It's not over yet. Cocoon comes in, another hook. Impaler's full HP. He could be doing damage here as the rest of the Supa Hot Crew come in the knock-up. The ultimate, he absolutely destroys them. And now Cyanide, the last man left up for FNATIC, just got away from it. But what a turnaround fight for the Supa Hot Crew there after FNATIC went aggressive with that first Destiny.
They chased so far down the line. KaSing was taken out before he could even get his ultimate available. And the reason I highlight that, it is still available if FNATIC look to challenge any more objectives. Now, thanks to the extended chase, Supa Hot Crew just ran everybody down. It was a little bit of a comedy of errors because no knockups landed. None of the Steel Tempest, the Mimer Dragon's Descent didn't connect, but thanks to that sweeping blade on Selfie as well as his flash, he just kept running everybody down. And initially, this team fight looked bad for Supa Hot Crew, but the tankiness on Mimer and the fact that Rekkles, while he's strong, he needs the active from Ghostblade to be super terrifying. He just got shredded. Very good ultimate from Selfie, unlike yesterday against Darian. The strongest fight.
Wind Wall also blocked out that final gold card that Peke tried to get down. He probably would have been better just leaving the rest of his team to go down and leaving it alone. But in the end, that actually gives Selfie now a 4-0-1 scoreline. BF Sword and Pickaxe in there. That Infinity Edge is coming next. That is one scary Yasuo.
Now, I want to highlight the weaknesses that we see from Supa Hot Crew. Yes, they got 4 kills. Yes, they got the turret, which was great. But they had to run the entire length of the map to make that happen because nobody really landed the combo correctly. In addition to that, FNATIC are still stacking up armor. You can see the makings of Arandian's Omen completed on the side of Cyanide. There is no armor for sOAZ yet, only the Hourglass for Peke. As that armor count begins to go higher and higher, it becomes even more imperative for Supa Hot Crew to land the combo and very importantly focus the right targets because they have to get through a lot of defensive statistics. They're not there yet, which means this window of opportunity is still available.
Right, yeah, and be far enough ahead when that does happen. They're going to jump on Peke. He's going to pop his Zhonya's. Will that be enough to get him out? No, it won't. And just caught out there, and again, Impaler showing the beauty of the Rengar, just dives on them to start the fight off.
Yeah, Thrill of the Hunt from the Wolf Camp just ran all the way through, and comboing the stun from Rengar into the stun from Braum. The pick power of those two is very, very good. But what does it give Supa Hot Crew? 20-second death timer. They've got a minion wave working towards this inner turret, and we'll see how effectively they deal with this wave clear. A good wind wall will mitigate all of that glitter lance damage, so there should be another tower for the crew. Well,
that's the thing. We talked about the wave clear, but the wind wall gets rid of it all if you put it in the right position. And just, you see it there at the backside of that turret. Nothing that FNATIC could really do about that one. The Supa Hot Crew waltz on in and take their 5th turret of the game. And that leaves them with a healthy 3,000 gold lead. But look at FNATIC, they're actually moving out here. Okay, forget that one. We saw the scrying orb used by Rekkles just to try and keep tabs on them, but they'd already left.
And Destiny was available for xPeke, so they were trying to set something up and obviously decide to back away. So Supa Hot Crew regain control. They've got the tower lead, they've got the map control, but now they need to defend. And this is where it becomes difficult for them. Their wave clear is somewhat reliant on short-range spells from Lucian and Yasuo on their Qs, or on Lucian's cooldown of the culling. Luckily, he does have some CDR from that Ghost Blade, so it will help them out, but we'll see how they invest it. There goes xPeke.
Oh, xPeke has gone super deep on this one. The Lantern coming out will actually save them. The culling focusing on towards Cyanide, who goes down below half HP. And look at Selfie there. He was thinking about looping around from the back. Funnily enough, Mimer wasn't involved. He'd gone towards that top lane and didn't have a teleport available, although that will be coming up soon. sOAZ is off cooldown at this point. FNATIC, I was going to say, seem to be happy with what they've got. Are they going to tank this one up? It looks like they are. The Supa Hot Crew have completely left it.
Yeah, very, very smart play from FNATIC, but it's not going down as quickly as FNATIC will want. It doesn't matter. Thrill of the Hunt is available for Impaler if he wants to go in. Now, what I liked about FNATIC, the previous push, they were going to that inner turret while they had waves pushing top and middle. And I think the reason Supa Hot Crew didn't go for that fight was to deal with that very large minion wave in middle, which Selfie went to go clear out. It's got him his Infinity Edge. And a smart call from FNATIC to realize no one from Supa Hot Crew is there. The risk of being caught by multi-man ultimates is lower. So just tank it up and face check it. YellOwStaR has got himself a Giant's Belt. He was sitting on a Giant's Belt and a Chain Vest towards the end of the game yesterday because he couldn't complete his item. But I really do believe that's going to be another Randion's Omen, despite the reduction in its effectiveness.
So 10 seconds for the next Dragon in this game. If you look down the CS totals as well, the Supa Hot Crew really have pulled ahead in that one with the pressure that they've been putting down on the map. YellOwStaR playing it a little bit dangerously, I thought, but the rest of FNATIC were actually in there behind him as well. They want this Dragon, knowing that an extra bit of gold into their total would really help them come these next engagements. They start that one off. The Supa Hot Crew, of course, gave this one up for basically free earlier, and they're already coming around the side. There's the knock-up from the ultimate, but they've not got Selfie in range. He's doing the Dragon pretty much solo right now, and that Dragon is going to go the way of the Supa Hot Crew. Mr. R's been hooked in, but there's the knock-up across the team, and FNATIC dropping like flies on this one. Rekkles is going to do some good damage back to Selfie, but it's YellOwStaR that they want to focus on. Blade of the Ruin King used by Rekkles to keep him up, and where is xPeke going to go? He's being caught at the back, trying to get away, but Impaler does the damage. Selfie gets another one on Rekkles, and now YellOwStaR is running for his life to try and stop the ace coming in for the Supa Hot Crew. I think they don't care about about YellOwStaR. They want the Baron.
Such a good flank. Mimer comes in from the sidelines, and Selfie just insta-gives sOAZ. He jumped in there, managed to just melt through sOAZ before the wild growth even happened. Pay very careful attention to how the Supa Hot Crew prioritize. Dragon first, Mimer's on the sideline, he's going to jump in. I believe the knockup was just onto sOAZ. You can see him getting caught up by that last breath, and he just gets melted by the Supa Hot Crew. Once they get rid of the wild growth and that zoning power of the glitter lance, and obviously the slowing from wild growth, they stick together, they clump up, and that mid-game sort of power damage from physical comps works out. There's not enough armor for FNATIC to survive, and that was a strong fight, which should have got them Baron as well.
YellOwStaR pretty much dragging a dead rat with him there, as Rekkles went down just after hitting the Lantern itself. And third Dragon, first Baron for the Supa Hot Crew, and a very healthy lead. Let's not forget, we already touched on it in the pre-game, 64 minutes was the last encounter between these two teams, where the Supa Hot Crew were doing incredibly well, controlling FNATIC, had a big gold lead, but they really struggled to close the game out. We'll see if they've improved that in the weeks that they've had since then.
We're theoretically in a similar situation. You know, previously FNATIC had the makings of a pick comp. They had a Trundle top lane and Nidalee, a poke comp rather. Trundle top lane with Nidalee middle, and they were just buying time for spears to land. For FNATIC now, they'll be buying time with the wave clear of Twisted Fate and Lulu, and if Supa Hot Crew can start the side lane management game effectively, they can buy time. Thrill of the hunt, Impaler's looking for someone, and we'll have to see how quickly he can find anyone. Something we also haven't mentioned or talked about is the stacks on his Bone Tooth necklace. It's currently only at 6, because he's at 3, 3, and 3. So bonus stats, his movement speed while out of combat, and his leap range, very importantly, is increased. So he's going to be able to initiate safer and securer from a longer distance.
We already saw pretty much Peke falling by the way, was trying to do damage from the side as we are going to see Destiny pop once again. They're going to go for Impaler and Mimer this time around. The Supa Hot Crew not really in a position to be fighting this one. They are finally coming around, but it might just be too late. KaSing coming in from the side. Ulti's not going to get the knock-up. Selfie won't get that either as they manage to hook in KaSing. And the Supa Hot Crew going to chase here. They're the ones with Baron on, but they've lost their jungler already. It's a good chunk of damage down. Let's see if they stick around and try and get the tower.
And that is the strength of Twisted Fate. He manages to come from the sidelines. With the Hourglass and the Death Cap, he does have a lot of burst. And he was able to just melt Impaler, who has still not built up defensive itemization. Yes, more of Malmortius is completed, but that's not going to make you survive against a Morella Nomicon and a Death Cap. So Impaler, shredded. That's going to put a big stall factor on Supa Hot Crew's push, and FNATIC playing catch-up. Now they need to be careful because they've lost access to Destiny for a little while longer.
Although that ward scanned out, you saw YellOwStaR waiting off to the side. He was trying to have a go on that one, and we can see there the goal difference between the teams over time. A small period where FNATIC had a slight lead, but that has dropped to over a 6,000 gold lead now for the Supa Hot Crew, just showing you what those few kills, the Dragon and the Baron, really can do for a team.
Yeah, we need to see how Supa Hot Crew break these inhibitor turrets. There's only one outer turret left standing, but it was the inhibitor turrets that stalled them out. That was the point where it took them 20-odd minutes to break through a couple weeks ago. And you'll notice that Mimer is just so tanky. In that previous fight, it was 4v2, and yes, they popped Impaler quickly, but Mimer survived for an incredible amount of time. He's got a lot of HP thanks to Randians and Sunfire. He's got ammo, he's got armor. So FNATIC, if they spend any time trying to get rid of him, it just allows all of the damage from Supa Hot Crew in, and we need to see Mimer has got the opportunity to sort of flash over the wall or go for a Dragon's Descent, but he needs to hit knockups. We haven't seen a good multi-man knockup combo yet from the crew.
Well, we talked about the wave clear maybe being a problem for the Supa Hot Crew to break through when it comes to sieging up these turrets, and so far FNATIC have done a good job of that. The knockup, Selfie dives in, good wild growth for the Supa Hot Crew, gonna focus on Rekkles. Cyanide's the next one down, Peke off to the side, can only gold card one man, and they lose 3 instantly. The Supa Hot Crew might be able to push for the win.
Absolutely no hesitation from the Supa Hot Crew. They grab 2 members, both Peke and Rekkles, and even though YellOwStaR mitigated all of the damage with exhaust, it wasn't enough. They kept running down. The Supa Hot Crew, they're looking to finish.
They're looking to get more kills. I don't know about finish. They managed to get one. sOAZ gets knocked up at the back. They're going to take the first Nexus turret down. There is Selfie. Ulti's onto sOAZ. KaSing did go down, but the first Nexus turret falls. Next man up is in 15 seconds. This game is going over to the Supa Hot Crew, showing us that they really can close out games decisively when they're in the lead.
That was an